Here we go again, 10 new electric mountain bikes released in the first 3 months of 2023. The market is going crazy, and one of these bikes is brand new, hot off the press today. Riders, welcome back to Sam's Bikes, where you know we only talk e-bikes, and yes, 10 new electric mountain bikes for 2023. And yes, the market is going crazy. But before we crack on with those 10 new electric mountain bikes, if you are thinking about getting that new electric mountain bike or just doing some research, why not check out samsbikes.net, the best, the only electric mountain bike finder on the internet. Think of samsbikes.net as the Wikipedia of electric mountain bikes. We have every electric mountain bike in a list. You can search for them, you can compare them, you can see what they weigh, what they cost, what motors they have, what size batteries they have. I really think it is the best place to find and research your next electric mountain bike. Check it out, riders, and let me know what you think of it. And now to the new 10 electric mountain bike. And number one, hot off the press, brand new today, is the Giant Stance E+. The new Giant Stance E+ is rolling on 29 wheels, 140 of travel up front and 125 in the rear. It's using a Giant Sync Drive Pro motor with 85 Nm of power and a massive 800 watt-hour battery. It's coming in 4 sizes and starting at a very impressive €3,999. So what do we think of the new Giant Stance E+? I personally love the aluminium, the raw aluminium finish. I also love the price, €3,999. And that is gonna give you local support at your local bike shop and also an 800 watt-hour battery. That is really impressive. Yeah, it's definitely a trail bike. So 125 at the rear, 140 at the front. It's got that low standover height. It's gonna be good for someone just testing the water, definitely wanting to do sort of light trails. And I think with that low standover height, it could be the perfect next bike for Bayer. Number two, Fezzari Timp Peak. Last week I was checking out the new video, the first look from the Lone Wolf on the Timp Peak. And riders, I'm gonna say, this bike looks awesome. The Timp Peak is rolling on 29 wheels, but it's also mullet compatible. We've got 170 mils of suspension front and rear, and it's powered by the Shimano EP8 motor with a 635 watt-hour battery. The Timp Peak is available in 4 sizes and starting from a very respectable $6,000 US. So why do I love the new Timp Peak so much? First off, 437mm chainstay on a 29er. I absolutely love that. And they're doing a frame only, and you can also slap a dual crown fork on this frame, no problem. You also can do customization out of the factory. So you want Fox suspension, no problem. You want EXT suspension, no problem. You want mullet setup, no problem. And also, don't like fitting cush core to your e-bike? No problem. Fezzari have your back. They will install that cush core out of the factory. That's awesome. And also, lifetime warranty on that frame. All these things are adding up to what I think is a great looking e-bike. So sign me up. And it's time to hear from our sponsor, Quadlock. I've been using Quadlock for the last 18 months. I absolutely love Quadlock. I always ride with it on my handlebars. And the other day, Nico, the Aussie punter, he's been using it as well. And he's been using it with his iPhone 14 Pro Max. You know, the really big iPhone. He has it on his handlebars. And we're out riding for like 2 or 3 hours. And in that time, he answered 3 emails and actually secured 2 new jobs for the following week. So as we say in Australia, the Quadlock just paid for itself. And the legends at Quadlock are giving a 10% discount to all Sam's Bikes riders. Link in the show notes where to get that deal. Number 3, Focus Sam Squared. The brand new Sam Squared was released last week. It's rolling on 29 wheels, but I also believe it is mullet compatible. It has a whopping 108mm travel up the front and 170 in the rear, with a Bosch Gen 4 motor with 85 Newton meters and a 750 watt-hour battery in most of the models. It's available in 4 sizes and starting from 5,500 euros. I really like the look of the new Sam Squared, good geometry, prices are on point. But I'm gonna say Jorge the Punisher has the old Sam Squared and fully loaded with like downhill Shorby tires, so super gravity tires and a coil on the rear. That bike is pushing, it's about 26.5 kilos. So for me, that is a little bit too heavy. I mean, you probably don't feel it on the trails, but it is quite a heavy bike. And also, I'm not 100% sure of the battery. Like, it's really sticking out in front of the chain wheel, and that definitely could get hung up when you're doing steep technical climbing. And number 4, Focus Jam Squared. Focus are not wasting any time in 2023, releasing the Jam Squared SL, the Jam Squared and the Sam Squared in the last couple of months. A little bit like fast fashion, but let's check out the spec. The Jam Squared is rolling on 29 wheels, 160 at the front and 150 in the rear, powered by the Bosch Gen 4 motor and a 750 watt-hour battery in most models. Available in 4 sizes and starting from 5,500 euros. Again, with the Jam Squared, good geometry, good pricing. I think that battery could be a problem if you like doing steep techie climbs. And also, I'm not sure I'm a massive fan of the industrial looking frames. If I was going to get the Jam Squared, I reckon I'd go for the carbon models. Number 5, Specialized Tero X. The brand new Tero X is rolling on 27.5 wheels, 130 mils of travel up front and 120 in the rear, powered by the Specialized 2.2 motor with 90 Newton meters of power and a 710 watt-hour battery in some of the models. And don't forget those very, very cool mudguards. The Tero X is available in 4 sizes and starting from 4,350 euros. The brand new Specialized Tero X, yes, it is a touring bike. Yes, it has mudguards. Yes, you can put panniers on it. But hear me out, riders, I think this bike's really cool. If you're a trail builder, perfect bike. If you're a paramedic or a steward or an official at a downhill or an enduro or even a cross-country event, perfect bike. And also, this could be a perfect bike for Bayer as well. 27.5 wheels front and back, small amount of suspension, and the low standover height and the good pricing. Another great bike, because let's face it, Bayer's never going to go crazy and do enduro or downhill. Now, if that doesn't impress you that much, check out the brand new Specialized Levo S-Works 2023. I'm absolutely loving the new color. I thought my white and gray one was blinging, but the new 2023 is even better. Number 6, Cube Stereo Hybrid 155. The new 155 is rolling on 29 wheels, 160 mils of travel up front and 150 in the rear, with a Bosch Gen 4 motor and a 750 watt-hour battery. It's available in 3 sizes and starting from 6,999 euros. The new 155 did take me by surprise. I didn't think they were going to release this bike. I thought they were going to upgrade their Stereo 160, make it, a mullet, change the geometry a little bit. I think that would probably make a bit more sense. This bike does look really good. Not sure where we're getting 155 from because it's got 150 of travel. Bit strange there, but I do like the geometry. I do like the look of this bike. Not sure about the pricing either. Cube is normally like a really good price. Like you can normally get into a Cube at like starting at 4,500 euros. And the new 155 is starting at 7,000 euros. So a big increase there. Number 7, Scott Lumen Eride. The new Superlight from Scott is rolling on 29 wheels and has 130 mils of travel front and rear. It's powered by the new TQ motor with 50 Newton meters of power and a 360 watt-hour battery. The Lumen Eride has a really interesting and unique look with the suspension all integrated and hidden. And also, riders, this bike is coming in at 15.5 kilos. Available in 4 sizes and starting from around 6,500 euros. I'm gonna say, riders, I'm a fan of the Lumen E-Ride. I think it looks really classy. The integration is crazy. You cannot tell it's an e-bike. And I wasn't sure I was a fan of the hidden suspension, but with this bike and this model, and it being more a down country or very much a trail bike, I do like the look of this bike. Number 8, Transition Relay. And the Relay definitely is not a new bike. Transition released or teased us about this bike a year ago. You couldn't order it, there was no pricing, but now they've released pricing and availability. The Relay is rolling on mullet wheels or 29 wheels, 170 or 160 at the front, and 170 or 160 in the rear. It's powered by the new Fezzari Ride 60 motor and has a removable 430 watt-hour battery, and it's coming in at 19.5 kilos. Available in a whopping 6 sizes and starting from around 6,000 to 7,000 euros for the aluminium model. But riders, good luck getting one unless you're Rob Rides. What a lucky guy, he's just done his first look of it. Really interesting video. I really like the look of this bike. I need to test the TQ and I need to test the Fezzari Ride 60. For me, I think the Ride 60 is a bit more interesting. And riders, watch this space because I definitely will be getting on this bike in the next couple of months. And number 9, Brazn. And even the Kiwis are getting into the e-bike freight train. The new Brazn is rolling on 29 wheels. It's got 160 at the front and 150 at the rear, and it's a high pivot. It's powered by the Shimano EP8 and has a 630 watt-hour battery. It's coming in at a very impressive 22.3 kilos. It's available in 3 sizes and one model, 18,995 Kiwi dollars, which is roughly 11 to 11,500 euros. So for me, this bike is interesting for 2 reasons. 1, it's a high pivot. I'd love to try a high pivot e-bike. And 2, it's got a Shimano battery and motor. Now, this is a reasonably or very small company, and this is the first small electric mountain bike company that has a Shimano motor in it. Normally, Shimano close their doors unless you're a really big company. So that is interesting for me, and I wish them all the luck. And if they want to send me one out, I'd love to try a high pivot e-bike. And riders, before we crack onto that last bike, have you enjoyed this video? Have you learned something? Have you got some value out of it? If you have, do me a favor and smash that subscribe button, like this video. It really does help out with those algorithms. And now onto the last e-bike in the list. Number 10, Mondraker Dusty. Okay riders, it's not an e-bike, it's a gravel e-bike. But hear me out, this e-bike looks amazing. It is powered by the brand new Mali X20 hub motor, which is quite possibly the only rear hub motor I've ever seen that looks interesting and I would ride. And this could be perfect to bring that entry-level price down to cross-country and hardtail electric mountain bikes in the future. So the Mondraker Dusty has a whopping 40 mils of travel and very thin tires, but it does look like a lot of fun. The Mali rear hub motor has 55 Newton meters of power and an internal 350 watt-hour battery. And the whole system weighs 3.2 kilos. So as I said, I think this bike looks really interesting. I'm not sure I'd be buying an e-gravel bike anytime soon, but I'm sure we're going to see this coming out in light cross-country e-bikes and also just hardtail mountain bikes. And I like the idea of that because it's going to bring the entry point lower for people to get involved in electric mountain bikes. And there you go riders, the new 10 electric mountain bikes for 2023, only in the first 3 months. 2003 is gearing up to be a massive year. And riders, put in the comments which electric bikes I missed out, which are the new ones you know about, because I do miss a couple because the market is moving so quickly. And riders, if you want to check out my top 10 enduro electric mountain bikes for 2023, click on the link where you see it, follow that video, and you know it riders, stay safe out there, and I'm going to see you next week.